questions or comments? Yes, sir.
Do you think it's more important for a libertarian candidate or even a libertarian office holder to leave a legacy of policy, or just to overall spread the philosophy of libertarians?
Well, it depends whether you're elected or not. I mean, if one gets elected, then I think you've got to strive for policy changes. You're going to need the cooperation of your colleagues. But for those of us who, I haven't sent my tux out for dry cleaning for my swearing-in ceremony for the U.S. Senate in January. So I recognize that I hate to say I'm not going to win, but I'm a long shot to win the U.S. Senate seat in November. And I don't know how to do it except to expound on my points and hope that people will listen and become convinced that these are the public policies they want the government to pursue, and that they get involved in the Libertarian Party and work toward, or in any way, but hopefully get involved in the Libertarian Party and run for office themselves some days. But if they don't do that, to at least work in whatever way they can towards liberty in their lifetime, whether it's through the Republican Party or, believe it or not, the Democratic Party, or through no political party. But certainly, if somebody gets elected, they need to work toward leaving a legacy of smaller government through legislation and public policy.
Yes, sir.
You mentioned right from the outset your strong belief in defending national security, things of that nature. Where would you personally draw the line between measures defending national security and measures defending the individual's right to privacy?
Well, I don't see how you can do that except on a case-by-case basis. I mean, I really don't. I think that you ultimately, you're going to have to hire people based on some sort of judgment. I mean, it happens in business, it's going to happen in government. You're going to have to make a judgment and try to put people in the right place at the right time. And there are just going to be so many. Hopefully, most of the questions aren't tough questions, but I don't think it should be just judged by one person. I mean, I think that this whole thing where we have to get, we got to do this warrantless wiretapping. Okay, well, you know, I'm not an attorney and I'm not really on the inside of this, but I mean, how tough is it to get a warrant for these things? Especially if you're the White House. It can't be that tough. They got these magistrates. You know, I think they got somebody there 24/7 at the courthouse. You know, running there at 3 a.m. whatever. But the whole, it can't be that tough to get a warrant. So, you know, I think you got to put checks and balances in there. I mean, let me tell you. I mean, I grew up during. I wandered the political countryside during my life. I mean, I was not politically involved in college, but I would have considered myself a Republican. The only time I ever voted for a major party candidate for president was the first time in 1976 I voted for Gerald Ford. And since then, I have never voted for a major party candidate for president, and doubt I ever will. But I just, where was I going? But in any case, I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought there. It's terrible.
You're going all over the place.
Oh, thank you. I still don't know where I was going with it. But I was a young Democrat in high school because I was growing up during, I know what, thank you. Yes, I was going back to high school in my mind and I got lost in between. I was a Republican, then I was a young Democrat because believe me, during Watergate, it was not cool to be a young Republican. Even in Rockbridge, Findlay, Ohio, Republican Rockbridge, Findlay, Ohio, there were only like 2 nerdy kids who were young Republicans in high school. But Richard Nixon, during the breakdown, I remember the breakdown of Richard Nixon. I mean, Richard Nixon, if he had, I really believe that if Richard Nixon, during the last weeks of his presidency, had said, that's it, we're going to send nuclear ICBMs to the Soviet Union, I don't think it would have happened. I really don't think it would have happened. I think that there were checks, certainly at that time on him, because people knew he was kind of losing it because if he didn't resign, he was going to be convicted by the Senate and thrown out of office. So what I think you need to do is to set up a system where there are checks and balances, and you don't have a small cadre of light thinkers deciding these issues between security versus liberty. Thank you for your indulgence on helping me with my senior